All right, let's just dive right in. We all work so hard to build something, right? A business, a home, a nest egg for our families. But then comes the big question. How do we actually make sure that everything we've built is protected for the long haul? Well, that's exactly what we're going to tackle today. I mean, really think about that for a second. You've poured in the years, the sweat, the sacrifice. So how do you shield all of it from things like lawsuits, creditors, or even just that messy, expensive, and very public court process called probate? The answer, more often than not, lies in one of the most powerful legal tools out there, the trust. But what even is a trust? I know, it sounds super complicated, maybe a little intimidating, but the core idea is actually surprisingly simple. And to really get our heads around it, we're going to use a simple little analogy I like to call the magic backpack. Okay, so imagine you have this special backpack. You can put all of your most valuable things inside it. Your house, your investments, your business, you name it. Now here's where the magic happens. Legally speaking, the backpack now owns those things, not you. But, and this is the key part, you get to write all the rules for the backpack. You control who manages it and who can take things out. You see the shift? You control the backpack, you just don't personally own what's inside anymore. That simple idea is the secret to everything. So, when it all boils down to it, a trust is really just three things. First, it's a legal container that officially holds the title to your property. Second, it's privately managed, which is huge because that means you get to avoid the whole court-supervised probate process. And third, it's rule-based. You set the rules for how, when, and to whom your assets get distributed. Total control over the rulebook. Now, of course, not all trusts are created equal. You wouldn't use a hammer to fix a watch, right? It's the same idea here. There's a whole toolkit of different trusts, and each one is designed for a very specific job. So let's take a little tour of the four most common types you'll run into. First up, we've got the one most families use, the Revocable Living Trust. Just think of this one as the flexible foundation. The most important word here is revocable. All that means is that you can change your mind. You can amend it, you can cancel it, you can pull money out anytime you want while you're alive. It's flexible. Okay, now this slide is really about the big trade-off. The pros are fantastic. You keep total control over everything, and when you pass away, your assets go straight to your heirs without getting bogged down in probate court for months or even years. But, and this is a big but, there's a major con. Because you still control everything, this trust offers zero protection if you personally get sued. So it's an amazing tool for estate planning, but it's not for asset protection. Now, if you're looking for serious, hardcore asset protection, you got to bring out the heavy machinery. And that brings us to our next tool, the Irrevocable Trust. We're going to call this one the Steel Vault. And just like the name says, once you put your assets in here, you generally can't take them back out. It's locked down. And this right here gets to the absolute core principle of asset protection. You have to give up control to get protection. The pros are ironclad. Assets inside are shielded from your creditors, and they're no longer considered part of your estate, which can save you a fortune in estate taxes. But the con is just as serious. It's incredibly rigid. You lose access and control over those assets. This is for permanent, serious planning. But what if your goal is a little different? What if you want to support a cause that you're passionate about, but you also want to create a financial benefit for yourself? Well, that's exactly where the charitable trust comes in. It's really the philanthropist's tool. Let's look at a specific kind, the Charitable Remainder Trust, or CRT. The benefits here are honestly just incredible. Check this out. You put an asset in, say a bunch of stock that's gone way up in value. The trust can then sell that stock with zero capital gains tax. Then it pays you an income stream for the rest of your life. You also get an immediate income tax deduction for making the gift. And then, when you pass away, whatever's left over goes to the charity you picked. It's a true win-win. Okay. Here's a worry that so many parents have. What if you want to leave a nice inheritance to a child who just isn't that great with money? Or maybe they're in a shaky marriage, or they've got some debt problems. For that specific worry, we have the safety net, the Spendthrift Trust. The magic of this one is all in the structure. You see, you name someone else, a third-party trustee, who has total control to make distributions to your heir. And because your heir doesn't have direct control over that money, their creditors can't get their hands on it. The trustee can pay for things like housing, education, or medical bills directly, making sure that money is used wisely and isn't just wasted or seized by creditors. So, we have looked at 4 different tools for 4 very different jobs. The big question now is, how in the world do you decide which one is right for you?
Well, this next slide is going to put it all together in a super simple way to help you make that choice. Let's just break this chart down. You'll notice they all avoid probate. That's a baseline benefit for any well-drafted trust. But just look at those first two columns. The revocable trust, high flexibility but no asset protection. The irrevocable trust, it's the complete opposite. Low flexibility but maximum protection. The spendthrift and charitable trusts are kind of in the middle, offering those specialized benefits. Your choice almost always comes down to answering one fundamental question. How much control are you willing to give up in order to get protection?
Okay, so this isn't just for personal stuff like your house. For all you business owners out there, listen up, because integrating a trust into your business structure is absolutely critical. Let's see how this can build a complete, unified shield around everything you've built. So, you probably know your LLC is a great shield for your business activities. But if you personally own the shares of your LLC, guess what happens when you die? Yep, those shares have to go through probate. The really elegant solution is to make your trust the member or the owner of your LLC. That one simple move connects your business liability shield directly to your estate plan, which ensures a totally seamless private transfer of ownership down the road. It's beautiful.
I know. This can feel like a lot to take in, but actually putting it into practice is simpler than you might think. It really just comes down to a clear, simple 3-step plan. Step 1. Create. You work with a good attorney to draft the legal document that is tailored to your specific goals. Step 2, and this is the one people always forget, you have to actually fund the trust. A trust is just an empty box until you transfer assets into it. That means changing deeds, retitling bank accounts. It's so important. And finally, step 3, comply. There are new rules out there, and many trusts now have to file what's called a beneficial ownership information report. It's a crucial final step to make sure you're all set. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? Look, planning for the future can feel like a huge task, but it's honestly one of the most important things you can do for yourself and for your family. This quote really says it all, doesn't it? The hard work you put in today to structure your assets, to plant that tree, is what's going to provide shelter and security for decades to come.